fresh charges of criminal breach of trust, Raja slams the CBI, says he will appear in court only after the probe is completed. Even as Pranab Da and Chidambaram mend fences, activist Kiran Bedi turns on the heat, says the Supreme Court and the JPC are still watching.
It may be closed for them, but it's certainly open before the JPC and it's certainly open before the Supreme Court. So you will hear much more about it from these two levels.
Crores of rupees unleashed in government's freebie schemes, but for Chati victims have to make do with the paltry compensation of 15,000 rupees after waiting for 19 years. A big relief for CM Jayalalitha. The Madras High Court quashes all proceedings against Amma in the gift case. After taking on land grab offensive, his arrests of party leaders, and now the local body polls DMK Treasurer Stalin now combats the flu. Reaching out to voters on smaller candidates, independents miffed with greater challenges of Greater Chennai.
You see, we didn't have much contact with other area. Now we have to build up the contact with other area, which is now added to our area now.
Krish Srikanth confesses on NDTV Hindu that injuries have left selectors without options, but backs the case for young players. Caribbean all-rounder Bravo spills the beans on CSK's success mantra.
In the history of Chennai team, they normally start off slow and then build up as the tournament progress. So hopefully this is, that win is a sign of the good things that come in.
Good evening, you're watching News Tonight with me, Ashmit. Let's also take a look at top developments that are pouring in from across the nation. Delhi police file a second charge sheet in the cash for votes case. The speaker denies permission to prosecute BJP MP Argal. A day after CBI said that it's probing Anil Ambani in 2G scam, his company's stocks take a dip. A setback for tax evader Hassan Ali. The Supreme Court cancels his bail given by the Bombay High Court. Following the fallout between the US and Pakistan after Mike Mullen's statement, Chidambaram says India always knew of ISI's links. Well, first up, former Telecom Minister A. Raja's lawyer has slammed the CBI, saying that the investigating agency should clarify the status of the 2G case against Raja. Now, the CBI has told one court that the investigation is over and another court that the investigation is still pending. Now, the court should call the investigating officers and ask them for clarity on the issue. Till then, he will not appear in the case. That's the statement that was put across by Raja's lawyer. Now, the lawyer was arguing on the new charge levelled against Raja, under which the maximum sentence is life imprisonment. The matter will be taken up on the 7th of October. Well, in fact, Neha Khanna, senior correspondent with NDTV 24/7, joined us for the latest on the status of investigation.
It's interesting that when these arguments took place in the trial court today, all that the special public prosecutor representing the CBI said is that what's happening before the Supreme Court cannot be discussed in the trial court, and that is Raja has any grievance vis-a-vis the Supreme Court proceedings, and he will have to take it to the Supreme Court. In fact, even the trial court judge, it seemed initially, was really not in the mood to entertain this particular plea by Raja's lawyer, saying that what is happening before the Supreme Court should not be discussed here. So, frankly, the CBI stand has been rather ambiguous, but let's not forget that the CBI has, in the recent past, also suffered a series of setbacks in the 2G case, with several government agencies in their reports actually coming out with findings that have gone in favor of the accused and weakened the CBI's case in many ways. Those reports, whether it's the TRAI's report or the Law Ministry's report, have really given a fillip to the defense and its case, and we believe that it is because the CBI was worried that its case was floundering that it decided to take this tough stance and slap these fresh charges. We'll have to, of course, wait and see whether the court agrees with the CBI that these charges should be imposed on the accused. But as of now, it seems there's growing friction really between the defense and the prosecution in this case.
Well, the 2G crisis within the government appears to be over, at least for now. A week ago, a 2G note surfaced from the Finance Ministry, which seemed to blame the Home Minister for not intervening in the 2G case. Now, Pranab vs. Chidambaram made headlines and haunted the government, even while the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister were in New York for work. Now, seen together for the first time since the crisis, yesterday, Pranab and Chidambaram cleared the air, while experts will continue to analyze if the crisis within the government has blown over or is now even more out in the open. The CBI again on Thursday defended the Home Minister in the Supreme Court, saying that the Home Minister P. Chidambaram alone could not take the decision on cancellation of licenses. Well, as the 2G news threatens to tighten around the Home Minister P. Chidambaram, the CBI today widened the scope of investigations. The CBI told the court, and I quote, "The letters of intent were issued on 10th of Jan 2008. Finance Minister alone could not have cancelled the letters of intent. Being a major decision, Government of India alone could have taken the decision because of the litigations involved," unquote. Well, Pranab Mukherjee and P. Chidambaram may have patched up last evening, but the BJP continues its attack on the Home Minister. The BJP said that despite evidence of his culpability and complicity, A. Raja is still the only one in jail. Now, Ravi Shankar Prasad also accused the government of preferential treatment in favour of Chidambaram. Meanwhile, the CPM chief Karat too unleashed, saying that the matter was not closed.
This preference being given to Mr. Chidambaram, in spite of voluminous evidence of his culpability and complicity, only demonstrates that different yardsticks are being followed. अध्यक्ष जी ने आज एक सवाल यह भी उठाया कि 2G के मामले में स्पेक्ट्रम प्राइसिंग को ग्रुप ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स के अंतर्गत रखा गया था और यह कैबिनेट की सहमति से रखा गया था। प्रधानमंत्री ये देश को बताएं कि उन्होंने बिना कैबिनेट की सलाह लिए श्री मारन के दबाव में स्पेक्ट्रम प्राइसिंग को ग्रुप ऑफ मिनिस्टर के दायरे से बाहर क्यों निकाला।
Well, reverberations of these developments were also felt right here in Chennai. Kiran Bedi, while in the city, slammed the mending offences by the top union ministers. She maintained that the matter is not shut and that the JPC and the Apex Court are still watching.
This matter is pending at two levels at the moment, as I followed the story very carefully. One is the JPC, the second is the Supreme Court. So as far as I, as a citizen who's been following the story very carefully, it may be closed for them, but it's certainly open before the JPC and it's certainly open before the Supreme Court. So you will hear much more about it from these two levels, and certainly from the Supreme Court, which is entirely a neutral body.
But despite calls for sacking the Home Minister gathering pace, P. Chidambaram, in a lighter vein on his reports of a tendering resignation, spoke of memory loss.
That is not a matter that concerns the Ministry of Home Affairs, and I am briefing you as the Home Minister.
Well, in a major relief to Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Jayalalitha, the Madras High Court has quashed all proceedings against her in the 2 crore rupee birthday gift case. Now, according to the CBI, Jayalalitha had received demand drafts worth 2 crore rupees from 57 people on her birthday in 1992. Now, the agency found many names to be fictitious and many had even denied purchasing drafts for her. However, the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister had sought the case to be quashed, citing delay in filing of charge sheet even after more than a decade. Now, September 29th marked a pivotal day for the victims of the Vachati rape case that lay pending for 19 years. Now, the verdict convicted all 269 accused for rape, torture and atrocities on Dalits. The verdict was delivered by a court in Tamil Nadu's Dharmapuri district. In 1992, 18 Adivasi women were raped at Vachati in Dharmapuri. More than 100 Dalits, in fact, were tortured and abused during a search for smuggled sandalwood. Now, 269 people, including 100 policemen and 17 forest officials, were accused in this case. And well, in what came as a sigh of relief for the victims who suffered at the hands of the convicted, but also had a 19-year long wait to get justice.
அவங்க எவ்வளவு நாங்க கஞ்சி சோறு இல்லாம தண்ணி இல்லாம வீடு இல்லாம போய் வெளியில ஆக்கித்தனமோ அந்த மாதிரி அவங்க அந்த தண்டனை எல்லாம் அனுபவிக்கணும்.
Well, however, despite the 269 accused being convicted, in what has come as a shock to many was the paltry sum of compensation offered, just 15,000 rupees. Now, rights activists are believed to be making comparisons with crores of rupees that were unleashed in the freebie schemes as opposed to a few thousand for the justice delayed by 19 years. Meanwhile, looking to milk these sentiments, the DMK yesterday offered an additional compensation of 15,000 rupees each to 18 women who were sexually assaulted. Now, the compensation would be given on behalf of the DMK trust and the money would be handed over to the victims in a couple of days. Well, staying with the news coming in from the DMK camp, Karunanidhi took the opportunity in the city to reiterate his position about the commuting of death sentence of the 3 convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. Karunanidhi today said that the Tamil Nadu government should pass a cabinet resolution to save the 3 death convicts. He also said that the centre should save them if Tamil Nadu government follows due procedure. He went on to add that death convicts in Rajiv Gandhi assassination case have been in jail for 20 long years. More DMK updates now. It appears that the struggle against the land grab offensive and the large-scale arrests is beginning to take a toll. The DMK treasurer Stalin is reported to have succumbed to the flu virus. He has been hospitalized in the city's Apollo hospitals. More details are still awaited. Moving ahead now onto the civic body polls, the expansion of Chennai Corporation turf has taken centre stage in lieu of the upcoming local body elections. Now, while this is considered a big step for the development of the city, many candidates view the expansion as a setback to their goal of setting foot into the administration of Chennai Corporation. Krishnamurthy tells us why.
Sridharan is contesting as an independent candidate from T Nagar for the post of councillor. This is his way of being the change he wanted to see after the previous administration didn't quite live up to his expectation.
Mainly, I am going to concentrate on civic issues. We are having a lot of problems with respect to garbage, drainage, a lot of streets water is not coming properly. And last 20 years, people, they have said they have been electing these political parties and they are not getting proper results and they are also not approachable.
But Sridharan is worried about the hiccups he faces to realize his dream of becoming a councillor. With the expansion of the Chennai Corporation limits, many areas previously under different zones have conglomerated into a single ward. Candidates are miffed with the expanded limits as they now have to build a rapport with voters who hardly recognize them. They feel this will virtually eat into their vote bank.
You see, we doesn't have much contact with the other area. Now we have to build up the contact with the other area, which is now added to our area now. And 2 weeks time election is over. So to canvass in all these things, practical difficulties are there.
Many mayoral candidates feel hamstrung by the limited time to campaign. They argue while assembly elections provided a month's time to campaign in a particular constituency, campaigning in the entire city in less than 20 days is virtually an impossible task.
கேட்டாலும் முடியாது இல்லையா முடிவு செய்யப்பட்டனால அதுக்குட்பட்டு நம்மளுடைய பிரச்சார வேகமா ஓய்வின்றி நம்ம செய்ய வேண்டியதுதான்.
Many candidates are trying to woo as many voters as possible in a limited time available to them. With this election throwing up numerous challenges to candidates, looks like the road to Chennai Corporation will be a hard-fought battle. In Chennai, this is Krishnamurthy for NDTV Hindu.
News now from Trichy. Police have seized unaccounted gold weighing about 5.5 kgs from employees of a private jewellery store in Trichy. Now, police sources claim that the suspects were nabbed during a routine check of vehicles coming in from Coimbatore. One such vehicle was halted and further interrogations revealed their illegal purchase of the gold bars from a mother shop in Coimbatore. Now, police have seized the getaway vehicle and have asked the accused to produce relevant documentation to secure their release. Meanwhile, the retrieved gold bars have been handed over to the Income Tax Department. Now, security in the meantime has been beefed up around the Trichy area to ensure that no untoward action takes place ahead of the civic body polls. Well, after nominations, it's now campaigning ahead of the big day of voting. DMK Chief M. Karunanidhi will campaign on October 10th for the party candidate and former Minister K.N. Nehru contesting in the by-elections in Trichy West, scheduled for October 13th. Now, following suit, former Deputy Chief Minister and DMK Treasurer M.K. Stalin would then campaign for 4 days on October 8th, 9th, 10th and the 11th. Now, DMK star campaigners actor Khushbu will also be campaigning for Mr. Nehru on October 5th and 6th, while actor Baigai Chandrasekhar on October 3rd and 4th. Popular comedian Vadivel, who had extensively campaigned for the DMK in the assembly elections and had burnt his fingers, is conspicuous by his absence in the upcoming campaign. Well, up ahead, as the stir for the state of Telangana enters the 18th day, commuters lament over the lack of services. More updates on the other side.